2018 happens to be one of the tragic year. We're preparing for Christmas. I just want to say this testimony to motivate somebody. I mean you. I mean you. And we're preparing for Christmas. A prophecy came that there will be a fire accident. We just took it with levity because we're preparing for Christmas. And that same night, I was upstairs and I started hearing noise. I was like, what's happening? So I rushed downstairs to ask my brothers and sister, are they cooking something? And they said they were not cooking. So I decided to go back. So I was going back upstairs. I turned by my left, and I saw my sister's room with fire. So I shouted, fire, fire, fire. And my dad rushed out. Being a father of care, the Jane house was there, the car was there. So they gave him water and he broke the windows of my sister's room and he poured the water. And that's how the fire bounced back on my dad. And his whole body was with fire. I saw my dad and I was like, Daddy, Daddy, and I had to quench the fire. Eventually they rushed him to the hospital. So I went the next morning to see my dad. And when I saw him, it was all bandaged around his body. I don't know when I started crying. This is my father. And the doctor said my dad was going to spend 3 months in the hospital. 3 months. I came back home and I started praying. I want to motivate you. And I started praying. And God gave me a word. He said my dad is going to spend 2 weeks there. 2 weeks in the hospital. I was praying. I went back the next day to visit my dad. And eventually, my mom was telling me my dad said the pain was too much and God should take his life. I started crying. But I went back home. I understood what God can do. He said, for with God, nothing shall be impossible. Nothing shall be impossible. And my dad spent 2 weeks and a day. And he came back home. I want you to understand something. If you see my dad, you wouldn't know he had a fire accident. As if that was not enough. That same 2019 was a tragic year for me. January, February, March, I was just falling sick often and often. Falling sick often and often. And God gave me a word. He said, son, very soon, this sickness will be over. I want you to understand something. It's close to 18 months now. I have not fallen sick. The Bible doesn't understand. He said, God took our infirmities and bore our diseases. I don't care who is sick here. I don't care who's having any death problem, any form of diseases. I want you to understand that I'm coming here with the grace because I have the grace of longevity. And as many that are falling sick here, I declare you are healed in the name of Jesus. Rekama masuta intekesede rababa kapa masote intekesuta kaba legedesh resete intekesote kaba labadat rabakadegesete. He said for the people that do know their God, he said they shall be strong and they shall do exploits. If you know you are going to do exploits, I want you to begin to speak in tongues now. Bareke suta aya inteke soko bradagade jepete kete kete mantes gapata intes kopande jekete kete zekete inda kapa parabados legedegede rekete suta inteke palagade rezeteke legede nanto you are well in the name of Jesus. Rekele basote mambra gapata intes leketeke shikadak ribaba legede. We are in a strange thing. We are in a strange time, and the Lord is doing strange things. The Lord is doing strange things. The Lord is doing strange things. He said the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the God as water covered the sea. I want you to begin to speak now. He said, Lord, my glory has come. My glory has come. Kabod, my glory has come. Rekamama, inteskopandes, rebodegedes, regedegedes, mandes kopanda, lepoteke shigada. In the name of Jesus, reke sita ante, gapata, leke toko sekete, redegedegedes, inteskopandas, rabakaba legedes, reseteke legedes, intoskopada.